I finally discovered which piece it was that Brie ate last year. It's
falling out of the wall for no reason. Is that sludgy than usually means?
It already just looks so much better than it did. There is literally nothing more awkward than people coming in and out of your house while you are watching videos of yourself. I just need to get over feeling bad about everything I do that isn't necessary, that enriches my life. I don't know whether it's sprinkled with magic or depression. So before we get into this vlog, I would just like to say a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is Ritual. Ritual was created when the founder Kat was trying to find a prenatal vitamin without any questionable ingredients. When Kat inevitably could not find a brand that she trusted, she decided to create her own. Since then, the Ritual product line has come a long way, expanding to include multivitamins for both men and women, prenatal, postnatal vitamins, vitamins that support gut and skin health, and even protein, all with clean, traceable ingredients, delivering key nutrients to your body and filling common dietary gaps every single day. With the new year coming up, I know I'm not the only one that's looking to making healthy lifestyle changes going into 2024, but I also know that I'm not the only one that knows that making healthy lifestyle changes is really hard sometimes. So I love that Ritual makes it so easy for us to get our daily vitamins with a subscription that means that you never miss a day and also never have to worry about running out. Ritual's key ethos is transparency, which is backed by the first visible supply chain of its kind, meaning that you know where every single labeled ingredient is coming from and also why it's there. And that transparency is further illustrated in the super sleek packaging right down to the capsule. So if you want to start your 2024 with a ritual that you can feel good about, you can get your first month of vitamins with 30% off, either by scanning the QR code on screen or heading into my description box, clicking on the link and entering the code BeccaBumxx30 at checkout. Thank you once again to Ritual for sponsoring this video. Good morning guys, today is the first day of the Lightfall Readathon and I'm getting a bit of an early start, like 7:45 a.m. kind of early, because I have plasterers coming in today replastering my bedroom. I have no idea what time they're arriving, but the guy who was in prepping for the plasterers yesterday said that they tend to arrive really early. So I'm up, I'm ready, and I want to get this vlog started because I'm really uncomfortable filming vlog updates when there's people moving around my house. Even if they're going to be upstairs for hours, I can't guarantee that they're not going to come down, walk past and see me talking to myself. So if you're unfamiliar with the Lightfall Readathon, it is the mini magical readathon which is created by G over at Book Roast. I will put a link to the announcement for this round down below, and also the Aurelium 101 guide if you want to get involved in magical readathon yourself coming into like 2024 and stuff. But the mini version is just like a little Christmas one. It's just over a week because it includes like the weekend on either side of like the Monday to Friday, so it's 9 days in total, and you're just exploring the town that's close to like the magic school that we all attend for the rest of the year. And for every shop that you go in, you get a prompt. There is also a loyalty card where you can collect stamps. It's not meant to be completed in this first year. You can complete it over like every year that you do the Lightfall Readathon. I am probably going to be spending a lot of time at the new location that's been added to the map for 2024, which is the Owl Cat Craft Cafe. This normally would not necessarily be a prompt that works for me because I don't always have an audiobook going, but this time, you know, I'm definitely actually going to be spending all week there because I'm 400 pages into Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan, and I have to have this finished by next Sunday because that's when the live show is. I set myself the task of reading 50 pages a day and I fell behind because I was away at the beginning of December, so now I should be by the end of today on page 600 and I'm currently on page 398. I know that the prompt specifically says like craft while listening to an audiobook. I do have a Christmas cross stitch on the go, and at some point I will definitely be cross stitching while listening to this. To start off with, I've got my Jigsaw out that I started when Brie was a puppy last year, and then she ate a piece and I put it away and I haven't looked at a jigsaw since, but I've recently picked up 3 new jigsaws and I want to do some over the festive period. So I've got that one out and I'm continuing on with it because I'm only like halfway through and there's only one piece missing. It's It's fine. It doesn't have to be complete. The joy is in doing the puzzle. It's fine. I bought it secondhand as well, so I had no guarantee that it was actually complete when I bought it. But this one, we all know, it is a classic fantasy series. It is a tale of light versus dark, and in this era, we are following the Dragon Reborn, or this era's Dragon Reborn, who is a legendary figure that plays a very pivotal role within the battle between dark and light. And he is reincarnated into every age specifically to play a key role in this battle. It's been slow going with the beginning of this one. I'm not enjoying it though, and I have just in the last chapter that I listened to yesterday reached a point where I was kind of shook. Like we've received some important information, so it's quite a pleasant listening experience if I'm being honest, and doing something like a Jigsaw at the same time is the perfect activity for me because I can't do anything where I use more than 3 brain cells. Otherwise I stop listening to my audiobook and I pay attention to what I'm doing instead. But I do need a physical read to go alongside that. I don't know when I'm starting this because really what I want to do is get to page 600 in this. Maybe not today, but like catch up with where I'm supposed to be as quickly as possible and then pick up a physical read. But I do kind of want to hit some of the other prompts. That being said, if I'm spending, let's say, half of my time at the Old Cat Craft Cafe, I'm going to be spending the other half of my time at the Old Tales bookstore, because the prompt for that is a book you wanted to read this year but had not had the chance yet. Now, if you have seen my December TBR, you will know that my main goal in December is to read all of the books that I've been rolling through TBRs for the rest of the year, aka my Patreon picks, whilst also keeping on top of like my book club picks. So I do have my next Patreon pick lined up to start me off with this prompt, which is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This one is it's the first book in a YA fantasy duology that was like super hyped when it was released in 2015, and it's following a girl who volunteers to be the next bride of the, I don't know if he's like the king or the prince, but every bride that he has like goes missing or is killed after one day, and so he takes a new one. So she actually volunteers. It's not usual for people to volunteer, but she does because her sister was actually one of these brides and she wants to find out what happened to her sister and also get her revenge. So I have heard some pretty good things about this one and I'm excited to see, because a lot of YA I will read and I think like some like Shatter Me, I don't think that this is the right time in my life for me to read something like Shatter Me. I feel like the time has passed. But something like this, and like I recently read The Demon King by Cinder Williams-Shimer. This year I read We Hunt the Flame. All of those were still really, really good. And I have a feeling that this could also fall into that category. I do really want to get some romance in this week. I say Christmas romance specifically. I have 3 Christmas romances that I've got in subscription box books that I really want to read because there's only 1 month of the year that I can read them and I never do. So maybe we'll have some of that lined up throughout the week. It really depends how fast I read through this, because while I do have a lofty ambition of getting through my entire TBR in December, I also am really happy to prioritize other things apart from reading for this final month of the year. So there's no real push with anything apart from Lord of Chaos to have me like have anything read with any kind of pace. So we'll see how it goes.
Christmas carols down the street, snowflakes on the graceful trees, underneath the mistletoe.
Buddy!
My teardrops
What you got?
melt the snow. Baby, won't you please come home? Been too long, you've gotta know. So much joy that will.
So I finished the Jigsaw. I finally discovered which piece it was that Brie ate last year. It's actually not too bad as this one, which I don't feel like is super prominent. I also listened to quite a bit of this yesterday, and I've listened to like 1 chapter today as well. I'm on page 538. My aim is kind of to get to around page 600 tonight. I haven't really read any of The Wrath of the Dawn, but like I said, I'm not super trying to rush or anything with reading right now. So I'm gonna leave this for a bit. I'm gonna go shower, play some Baldur's Gate, because you're working this evening, right? So he's only free in the daytime to play with me, which is rude because I've barely seen him since Monday. But I'm gonna play Baldur's Gate for a bit and then dismantle this and get a new one out because now I've got the puzzle kick, you know, I've got to do like 3 or 4 puzzles back to back and then not touch it again for another like year. I also wanted to show you guys the bedroom in the daylight, and I kind of forgot. So it's, oh, it's still pretty light in here actually. The plastering has all been done. I'm not going to go too far into the room because they've just plastered like and not covered the carpet. So there's bits of plaster like crushed into the carpet and stuff. But it's looking good. Like it's drying slowly. This was finished yesterday at about 3. So like all of these lighter patches is where it's actually starting to dry, but a lot of it is still very, very dark. The weather is obviously not helping. Create a bunch of condensation on the windows as well, which we keep coming in and wiping off. But we have a lovely smooth wall surface. I'm so excited to paint. My samples have come for paint. The only thing that needs doing in here now is the guy is coming tomorrow to put an architrave around my closet door and around the window. And then the skirtings, we have no skirtings at the minute because they're all being replaced. That I think should be completed tomorrow. And then I'm assuming that based on this, all the fixtures need to go on because they're all like hanging off the wall. So they all need screwing back in. But then after that, I think that should all pretty much get done tomorrow. And then there is a couple more days drying on the wall, I would say, before I can start painting and stuff. I don't know when I'm starting painting. It's like, it is December and I want to enjoy the festivities, but I do also kind of want to crack on with it, especially because like the radiator isn't going back on in here until we have painted. And then also in January, when everything's reopened, we will be able to book in a new carpet. And I don't think many people get carpets in January, so we shouldn't have to wait too long. But yeah, the sooner everything gets done, the better. So maybe I'll start next weekend. We'll see how I feel. It is still the lead up to Christmas, so I still have a lot of stuff to do so that I can have like time off over Christmas. So we'll see what next weekend is like, but maybe I'll start maybe doing like the priming coat or something. We'll see how it goes. We're like, oh, I'll still have audiobooks to listen to then as well, which is good. I'm actually kind of enjoying Wheel of Time, like genuinely enjoying listening to the audio. And because I have so many activities that I want to do that an audiobook would be perfect for this month, I'm not looking forward to it being over. That being said, actually the live show for the next book is going to be in February, and I'm away for most of February, so I don't know how I'm going to be able to manage that. So maybe I'll just go straight into book 7 after I finish book 6 if I'm feeling like I really want to get some stuff done.
Your 20s were such a ride, Sharon. Your 20s, oh yeah. It's not Frank. It's not Frank? It's not Frank. Wow, I thought it was going to be Frank. No. So after a few days enjoying the local nightlife, Frank and Sharon were running very low on money.
So I just wanted y'all to know that I have got a new puzzle out. I've decided to go with this Christmas one that I have started before. I got halfway through it in Christmas 2017, and then I put it down for a while, as I do, because like I get the urge, I do like 3 puzzles and then at some point I lose steam, and then I left it on the board, and obviously it wasn't Christmas anymore, so I dismantled it. So I've only ever done half of this one, but I'm currently cooking. I'm making my first Instagram recipe. So I'm sure some of you guys can relate, but I keep saving recipes on Instagram and being like, oh, this looks really cool, I'll get to it, and then I don't. So we've actually been out and done like our weekly shop today, and I got some ingredients to finally try some of these Instagram recipes that I keep saving. So the first one I'm doing is, I will link it down below. I'll let you know if it's any good, but also I'll link it below regardless. But this one is a sausage and leek gnocchi tray bake, which just looks divine. So it's gonna take me about an hour, but a lot of that is like baking time. Actual prep time and prep effort isn't that much. So I'm gonna crack on with this, listen to a wee bit more of this, and oops, I'll give you the verdict on the recipe when it's done. I'm excited. I really don't think with these ingredients that we can go very wrong.
Shells to detect the When the shells were tested by a ballistics expert, at that point, Sharon had already been acquitted of guilty murder. It's not even a town. It's literally not. It's just like an area on top of a couple of fucking mountains. It's like, who wasn't trying to take it down? I mean, me, I wasn't, but well, you weren't alive. They falling out of the wall for no reason. For that, was even usually loose. No. First, yeah. It just flew out of the wall.
So the bedroom is complete. It looks real good as well. I really like the skirting that they decided to put it on it because they put like a taller one than the normal, and it's looking real good. We are currently talking to them at the moment to see when they can get in January to do the coving. Plaster's still wet. Oh, it's echoing here. But if you look at the skirting, it's like a taller one than the standard. And I think already just with having the architraves and the skirting board primed, it already just looks so much better than it did. The next step for all of this is going to be horrible because my next job is to put a mist coat on these walls, which I think I'm going to do at the weekend. We still need another 2 to 3 days of drying on it. As you can see, this side of the room still super wet. This side over here pretty much dry, like in the alcove. So at the weekend I'm gonna put a mist coat on. I am then allowed to paint the ceiling. I can paint the skirting boards, and I'm going to paint in our like color that we're actually going with. Essentially, oh god, that's heavier than I thought it was going to be. I just moved the radiator. Essentially most of the bottom of this wall so that the radiator can go back on. And then we're currently talking with them to see when they can get back in January to put coving up, because I thought that I could paint and then the coving could go up whenever, but they said it's probably best to get the coving up before everything's painted so that there's no coving adhesive marks on the wall, especially because we're going to be using Faro and ball paint. If they leave any marks that need like painting over, the paint's really expensive. So I'm gonna get in at the weekend, do the mist coat, order the paint for the ceiling, which I think we're going with blackened from Faro and Ball. I do need to get my samples on the wall just to check that I'm sure what colour we're going with in terms of like the actual room, and see what they come back with dates, because we are ordering the coving, and if I order now it can be here next week, which they're not going to do the job next week, but if they want to get us booked in as soon as they're back from Christmas, then the coving will be here. And then if not, if they're going to be like later in January, I don't need to worry about ordering that until the new year. But yeah, that's what we're up to. I'm happy that they're gone and I can kind of resume my life, because let me tell you, there is nothing more awkward, because I'll show you, right? The front door is behind me. It's here. Okay, that is the door to my office. And then when you come into my office, my desk is here. So if you're coming in and out the front door, you can see me sat here, right? And there is literally nothing more awkward than people coming in and out of your house while you are watching videos of yourself, while I'm proofing my videos. There is nothing more embarrassing. So I'm glad that they've gone, because every time they were coming in and out of the front door getting stuff from the van, I was pretending that I was doing something that wasn't watching myself on the internet. So now that that's over, I feel a lot more at ease. But my mind is just like whirring with all of the interior design stuff. I've just been constantly thinking about paint. I went to sleep thinking about paint last night, and I'm kind of eager to get it done, because as well as anything else, we're stuck in that spare room until like we can move back in, and we can't move back in until the radiator's in, because we told them we're not keeping the carpet. They've cut up bits of it to repair like wonky floorboards and just like not bothered to cover it, so there's plaster dust everywhere, so we can't even just like temporarily kind of move back in. So I'm really eager to get it done as soon as possible. But also, actually, I'm filming my entire own TBR at some point this week. I've got it scheduled to go up on Sunday, and one of the bookshelves is blocked off by the spare bed that's leaning at the end of the at the end of my bed that's in the spare room. So like I can't access those books, and I still haven't come up with a solution of what I'm actually going to do about that, if I'm being honest. Good afternoon. It is 3:15, aka the time of afternoon where I'm tired and I don't want to work anymore. So I'm gonna go make myself a cup of tea before I carry on. But I have had a very exciting morning today, because you guys know the only thing I want from life right now is a Peloton bike. Literally all I want. For you guys that don't know, I have a spin bike that is in the living room in front of the TV, and I have the Peloton app on the TV. The bike that I have is not a Peloton one. Back in 2021, like a Peloton bike was just not something I was going to pay for, because I didn't know that I was actually going to work out every day, and I didn't want to buy it, end up not being able to form like these good habits and feeling really guilty about it and myself. Like, I just didn't want I did not want that. But now I work out 5 days a week. I work out Monday to Friday, and every workout I do on all 5 of those days is Peloton. Peloton, and at least 3 of those days I cycle. So it is actually really worth the investment for me now. It's worth like the top tier membership and the equipment and the apparel, because like I'm not saying that Peloton isn't a cult, okay? I'm just saying that I'm indoctrinated and I'm fine with it at this point. I did order myself a bike this morning and it is so worth the money for me. Like buying a Peloton bike for me is more worth it than buying a car, because I use my Peloton on my spin bike more than I use my car, and I do need a new car as well. But I say this every year, I say I'm gonna get a new car and I've been putting it off for 2 years so far, so if I could put it off for another one, that would be amazing. It's like worth the money for me, absolutely. Like I know that for me and my habits and the habits I already have, it's already worth it for me to buy a Peloton bike. Does that stop me feeling horribly guilty for spending money on myself, even though it's also Christmas? No, it doesn't, especially with the renovations going on in the bedroom right now. But like, I just need to get over feeling bad about everything I do that isn't necessary, that enriches my life. And I don't actually feel bad about traveling, because traveling is like experiences, and I feel like I don't want to miss out on experiences if I can. But I feel like, do I need a Peloton bike? No, I don't. Do I want one? Absolutely. So now I'm gonna spend the rest of however long, I don't think it's going to arrive before Christmas. It says that the estimated delivery date is 1 to 3 weeks, but I don't think that accounts for Christmas. So I feel like it's going to be a while before it arrives, but you bet that I'm going to be watching the door every day waiting for a bike to turn up. And I even also know it doesn't work like that. Like they send you an email to book a delivery slot, but I need it yesterday. I did need it yesterday. I should have ordered this like last year at the latest, but here we are. At least it's finally done now. So I've actually got quite a bit done today in terms of editing, and I've got quite a bit of reading done yesterday and today. I've read past where I needed to be last night on Wheel of Time, so I'm like 730 pages into that, and I'm really enjoying it. We're pulling plot twists out of the woodwork, and I'm here for it all. Like I don't really know what it is exactly about this book that's making me enjoy it more than the others, but I'm having a great time. And overall, do I like the characters? Still not really. Am I really invested in the plot? Not necessarily, but is it enjoyable to listen to now? Yeah, it is. And things are happening. I feel like we're having more plot progression, or plot progression at a faster pace than we have in previous books, which I can definitely get behind. But I have also made it 128 pages into The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, and I'm also enjoying this one. It is a very quick read. The 140 pages I've read are just ones that I've been reading while I've been editing my vlog. You know how it works. I edit a day, I read a chapter. 2 birds, 1 stone, without me feeling like I've been doing one thing forever. I've read all of this while I've been vlog editing the last 2 days, and I'm having a good time with it. I feel like it's very abrupt with its start though. My synopsis that I gave you was pretty accurate, but it's about a girl called Shahrazad whose best friend was one of the king's brides. So she volunteers to be one of the king's brides to essentially kill him, because every day he takes a bride and every morning he executes her. So Shahrazad becomes the next bride. She leaves a letter behind for her family, etc., and is like, I feel like I have to do this and I'm gonna try and kill him. And she essentially starts telling him a story on the night of their wedding that she leaves unresolved. So because he wants to hear the story, he lets her live another day and another day and another day. And I'm pretty sure this is a retelling, because I feel like that sounds very, very familiar to me. The reason why the start of this is so abrupt is because there's no kind of lead up to that. Like it pretty much starts as she's marrying him and it goes into like the first night. And also like I would have liked a little bit more lead up, because the thing that I'm struggling with here is that apparently the Caliph, the king, he never visits his brides. Like he marries them in the morning, they get killed, and he never sees them past the wedding. But on her first night as his bride, he goes to her rooms and she tells him the story, and then he obviously keeps going back so that she can continue. And I feel like I needed a little bit of a lead up for a believable reason, like why she is different. It is going to be like a fantasy romance. It does say like in the synopsis that as the days go on, because her intent is to kill him, she does end up growing closer to him instead. So with that in mind, I feel like I would have needed a little bit of a lead up, because at the moment I'm just supposed to believe that she's different, but like, why is she different? Why has he immediately taken this interest in her? I think I know why he's executing people. I'm pretty sure the prologue alludes to it as well. Although I'm terrible with prologues. If I read something without context, like I haven't returned this because I had no context when I read it for the first time. So it's only after like when I get to the end of the book and I go back that will make any sense to me, which is kind of intentional, but I feel like the level to which I don't retain anything from prologues like that is on another level. But I do feel like I know potentially his reason for executing his brides. I just, to make this instant connection, like the reason why Shazi is different, I feel like I would have wanted like an extra, like just maybe 20-30 pages leading into it to set it up a little better, because it is very abrupt where like she's talking herself into marrying him and it goes like straight into the plot. So I'm surprised how quickly I've got through those first 120 pages. And tonight, what am I doing tonight? Nothing exciting. I'm gonna work out and I'm gonna maybe wrap Christmas presents and listen to Lord of Chaos, or do my Jigsaw and listen to Lord of Chaos. So absolutely nothing new. So I can't imagine I'll be reading much more of Wrath of the Dawn tonight, but I think I'm gonna finish Lord of Chaos ahead of schedule, which is unprecedented. Today we have another Instagram recipe. This one is parmesan, like roasted parmesan carrots with a hot honey dip. They smell like cheese on toast, which is already doing it for me, but I'll let you know how they taste. Actually, I didn't tell you how the last one was. It was good. I'm definitely going to try the other like gnocchi bakes from that creator. I'd say it would probably have tasted a little bit better if the meat had been browned and like the leeks just like fried off a little bit in the pan before they were baked, because you were lacking like that depth of flavor. And if I made it again, I'd also add some stock paste to bring more flavor to it as well. But aside from that, like it was real good and very, very easy to make as well. So it's 4:25 and about 30-40 minutes ago I finished filming my entire own TBR video, which I did start that at like 10:30 this morning, so it's taken me a good long time, but I'm not really surprised because it always does. But what I am surprised about is that when I was filming that video, I was having so many ideas about content and goals for 2024, like problems that I have as a reader and ways that I can rectify that. And instead of just making a goals video saying I have these problems and I want to fix them, like making plans to have like actionable things that I can do to build towards the goal by the end of the year. So now, because I have so many ideas in my brain and they're all just like buzzing around there, I'm actually brainstorming. I've literally never done this with my channel ever. Pretty much everything that I do is on the fly, and I'm worried because like I have a tendency to get overwhelmed. But I'm thinking of writing down, I'm gonna write down everything. I have 2024 goals at the minute. I'm gonna write down everything that's kind of a problem or everything that is like seems important to me. So a problem I have at the minute is that I just can't seem to read any sequels. I'm trying so hard in my head, but I'm not actually reading any. So that would be a problem that I wrote down, and then I would write down maybe multiple ways that I can rectify this, and maybe like types of vlogs that I can make that the end goal would be to make me read more sequels. And once I've written down like all of the problems, I need to read more sequels, and then like maybe some of the solutions, I'm gonna kind of like work out what the most prominent ones are, like the ones that I want to work on the most, and focus on those to try and build like cohesive content that all works towards this end goal. So if I said my main problem for 2024 is I need to finish some series, I could do a variety of different types of vlog where they all include reading sequels or finishing series in some regard. That's like the thought pattern I'm on, to try and nail down a goal and all of these things that I can do to build towards this end goal, if that makes sense. So I'm really excited. I'm worried though, because I don't want to overwhelm myself. You all know a couple of years ago, was it the beginning of 2022 now, or was it 2023? I think it's 2023 where I said like I can't be held accountable for any type of content anymore. I need to like take a back seat. I need to be less serious, less structured, because I'm super overwhelmed all the time. So what I want to do, like I am feeling like I want to put more into my content again. I'm feeling more driven. I'm feeling more inspired to make this type of content. But what I don't want to do is get back to that place where I feel super pressured and it's not fun and I don't want to do it and I can't manage it. So that's the worry. Like I'm getting really excited about this, but then there's that part of me that's like, don't do it. Like you shouldn't do this. So I'm trying to find a middle ground. The problem with content that I've always found, especially over the last few years, and why it like overwhelmed me, is because there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff I want to do. Like I want to do just generally like themed reading vlogs. Like I did some where it's like I read dragon books for a week, and then I want to do like challenge vlogs, like how much can I read in 24 hours? And I want to do Bookopoly vlogs, and I want to do a vlog where I finish duologies, and I want to do the Unhaul project, and I want to do like, is the GSFF worth my money, but with a different subscription box, but also like maintain my TBR and read spontaneously and participate in readathons and mood read at the same time. And you all know that's not possible, cannot be done. And that's like why I struggle so much in making decisions and nailing stuff down, because I want to do so much and I have so much that I want to work on, but I can't do it all. So we'll see if this is fruitful or whether it proves to be overwhelming, but I'm excited right now. My issue that I have though is that I can be kind of impulsive. Like, now that I'm excited about this right in this second, I want to pursue some of these ideas in my brain right now, because I'm worried that if I schedule them for like January, by the time it comes around to filming them, I won't be as excited about them anymore. But also what I really need to do instead of getting excited about this is focus on reading through my TBR, because something that kills all of these projects I want to do is having to read a TBR, because I keep letting it roll into such like a big thing. So what I really need to do this month, even though I'm already thinking like, should I do this next week? Should I do this next week? No, you should read your TBR. Read it so that we can start 2021 strong and we can keep on top of things and make it manageable and do some cool projects. But yeah, that's where my head's at right now. So keep your fingers crossed for me that this is a productive brainstorming session. So I've just been a big strong girl and been and got my vaccinations for Thailand sorted, which was luckily just hepatitis A, because my tetanus is all up to date. And also a reminder to book your smear test, because I completely forgot that they were every 3 years. I thought they were every 5, so I'm overdue. And now I have that to look forward to on the 5th of January. So if you guys are also overdue, if you've also forgot, call your doctor, get it sorted. Please ignore the rattling radiator if you can hear it. The radiator needs bleeding, and we didn't have a radiator key because the system's literally never needed bleeding before in 4 years of living here. I think it's actually because they took the radiator from my bedroom out of the system, because it started a couple of days after that. I think it was Sunday night. So I'm gonna set the heating to come on a couple of hours later tomorrow so we can do it first thing in the morning, because it's driving me wild. Also ignore the like sports bra under the radiator. We normally in winter dry the laundry in our bedroom, but it doesn't have a radiator, so we can't do that now, because it'll just, especially with the plaster drying, it'll just get more damp in there. It really do be rough out here at renovation time. Like, when I agreed to renovate in December, because we're not having guests, we're not hosting or anything, so I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. I forgot about all of the inconveniences of things like having laundry everywhere, and the fact that, oh my god, that bedroom is no longer cozy. It's no longer cozy. I don't know whether it's sprinkled with magic or depression, but I cannot get out of bed in the morning at the minute. I'm struggling, but that could also be a little bit hormonal. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about any of this. Everything in me right now wants to listen to Wheel of Time, which crazy I know, and also do my Jigsaw, but I'm actually going to read some of The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I just feel like my reading experience with this book has been really disjointed, and because of that I feel kind of mad about it, and I really don't think it's the book's fault. I think it's me, because I keep reading it in like chapter increments. So I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read some of this. Also, it's okay, it only fell to here. Also, I have my Patreon 24-hour readathon for December tomorrow, and I want to get through this pretty quickly so that I can pick a new book for the readathon. I'm probably not going to have it finished by the time the sprints... What are you doing? By the time the sprints start tomorrow. But if I could get a little bit close to the end so that I can wrap it up in the first set of sprints tomorrow night, then that would be great. And then aside from that, I'm just going to carry on until I finish Wheel of Time. I might actually do the sprints on my laptop so that I can listen to Wheel of Time and do my Jigsaw. You know what's up, guys. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that, because I sat down about 20 minutes ago and then I keep getting up and doing stuff. I'm really motivated at the minute, and I don't know whether it's actual true inspiration or whether it's anxiety that's refusing to let me sit still, and every time I sit still I'm like, oh, I'll just do this. Oh, I'll just do this. So I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna focus for 30 minutes before I take Brie for a walk, get a shower, and then get into bed. So that is my second puzzle of this vlog finished. I was actually wondering whether I would finish this or Wheel of Time first, because I currently have 24 minutes left, and that's including like reading out the glossary as well, so it'll actually work out being less than that. But like the plot is thickening in here so much. I'm having such a good time, but now I don't know what to do, because this is really good. Like doing a jigsaw is really good at focusing my mind while I listen to an audiobook, so I don't really know what to do while I get through the last 25 minutes of Wheel of Time. I've done it. I defeated Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. We may only be just over 1/3 of the way through this series, but this is the biggest book of the lot, which makes me feel real good, especially because books, I've just looked at them, books 7 to 10 are quite reasonable in length compared to this. Like the book 8 and 9 are only like 500-600 pages each, and then we do end up creeping up a little bit as we go from books like 10 to 14, but I'm excited for the next 4 books and the length of them, I gotta be honest. Also, have to be honest, I really enjoyed this book. There were some things that really irritated me about it, and the main thing is all of the relationship stuff that happens in this series. And I have to say, obviously, like I'm reading it from the perspective of 2023, so the standards of relationships and the way men and women treat each other is so much different and so much better now than it was when Robert Jordan was growing up, living his life, and also when he was writing these books. But the women falling all over Rand, the way that Fael and Perrin treat each other, the way that Matt looks at women, the way that every conversation between a man and a woman in this series is them looking how to manipulate each other. Like they psych themselves up before they start a conversation by being like, oh, like how can I speak to him in a way that's going to make him do what I want? Like how can I speak to her in a way that's going to make her listen to me and not be stubborn about it? And it frustrates me to no end and really holds me back from loving this series, especially because this one was so good. The plot throughout the middle, plot twists flying left, right and center. It was quite slow throughout the beginning, and we did have some slowness in like the last third, I want to say, but we then once again had things like picking up as we built to the conclusion of this book. I do kind of wish that these books ended more on cliffhangers, because they tend to like have a problem arise in the last like 100-ish pages that then resolves by the end of the book, and I kind of, just for the sake of suspense, wish that the books actually ended on the cliffhanger instead of resolving the problem before the book ends. But aside from that, like there was a lot of oh shit moments in this one, and a lot of progression in terms of the plot and the characters. I feel like we're really picking up now and getting into the meat of the story. There are a lot of characters to keep track of in here, so I did struggle a little bit throughout here just with how much the cast has expanded since the very first book. Like we have people from different places in the world, different cultures. There's also different factions within some of those like cultures and organizations to also keep track of. So it is like getting to be quite a big brain series at this point, but I love the intricacy and the complexity of the plot in here, which I gotta say is Wheel of Time saving grace. So this is a 4-star read. I have given 2 other books in the series 4 stars. It's kind of like a low-end 4-star for those and this, because the points that I don't like about this series like really do annoy me, but you cannot deny that the plot in here is real good, and Robert Jordan has put a lot of time and effort into like plotting this series from start to finish. So that is that done, and that is my time at the El Cat Cafe suspended for now, because I'm going to be going back to, oh my god, what location am I at for Lightfall for my other book? I am at the Old Tales bookstore, and I need to read some more of The Wrath and the Dawn. I don't think I'm gonna have this finished today because I'm only on page 242 out of page 380, so you know what, it is possible. I'm not putting any money on it though, but I definitely do want to finish this tomorrow if nothing else. I'm still having a good time with it. I do kind of regret that my mental state hasn't really been in a place where I've fully been able to dedicate myself to this book this week, and as well as just like having things to do, I've been struggling to kind of sit and focus, so I've just been really dipping in and out of this one instead of dedicating any actual real time to like reading a big chunk of it. And I do think that my enjoyment has suffered because of that, and the sad thing is that it's not to say that I'm not enjoying it. I am. I just feel a little bit disconnected with the story, but I know that that's like a me problem because of the way that I've been reading it, because of how I've been feeling this week, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go make some progress in this. If we roll a double, I will be picking a new book to fulfill a new Lightfall prompt that I probably won't finish. But I love the spontaneity, so if the opportunity arises, then I have to. I don't have a choice.
Wine and charcuterie and stuff is always just a fun time. But I'm really excited to like be in a book club with people from a bunch of different backgrounds. So I'm sorry, that's just another.
Good evening, guys. I am getting set up at my desk because I have the live show for Lord of Chaos in 26 minutes, but I thought I would come and wrap up this vlog here before then because today is the final day of Lightfall. Today we went out and we did a bunch of shopping, not quite Christmas shopping, but it was one of those where we went to like 6 different places, so it took a long time, but we only needed like little bits from each one. I've got all of the Christmas presents for Brie and also for my dad's dogs, and I've also got some of the bits that I needed to start the painting in my bedroom, which I did kind of want to start this weekend. Like in my head it was happening this weekend. Obviously my head didn't remember that I had a readathon that was going to be happening across Saturday, and so we went out today to get the stuff so that my next available time on my next free day I can get started on the mist coat and painting the skirtings in there. And then when we got back I spent like the rest of the afternoon just doing like householdy things, and once again not as much as I would have liked to do, but I should, fingers crossed, be breaking off from work on Wednesday, which means that I'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday to do the Christmas clean and get a whole bunch of stuff done. But that does also include my Christmas food shop, which I never ever look forward to. But this afternoon, amongst all of those things, I did finish up The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I only had like 40 pages left when I went to bed. I enjoyed this one. I gave it 3 stars, and I do think that this could have potentially been a 4 had I not been so like all over the place when I started reading this. I actually really liked the romance in here, which I didn't realize that I did up until we got to like a real like heightened point of it, and I was like, you know what, actually I really ship this. So it's definitely a win in terms of The Wrath and the Dawn. I was looking at the sequel because I wasn't sure for a while whether I was going to continue, but it was on a Kindle deal for 99p, so I have gone ahead and bought that in ebook, and hopefully I'll be able to get to it soon. But this one I really like the atmosphere and the setting of. I do feel like we needed to be eased into it a little bit more, and I do feel like there was periods of time where Khalid kind of like isn't here, like he goes away to do things and you don't follow him while he's doing that, but then it'll kind of just jump to the day that he comes back. So I feel like the timeline was a little bit disjointed, and I potentially feel like the scope of the plot could be a little bit wider because it does follow these two and like the fact that he's sacrificing all of these brides and like her conflict because she's falling for him but she has to kill him. And I do feel like it could have just been like opened a little bit wider to kind of round it out a little bit more, but it was definitely enjoyable, and I am looking forward to reading book 2, which I think is called The Rose and the Dagger. Sadly, probably not this year, because I'm probably going to struggle to even finish my TBR this year, but we will see. Because in next week's vlog, I'm just going to be trying to finish my TBR. I'm going to see if I can beat my TBR before the end of the year. It's going to be a struggle, but like I said, I'm breaking off from work on Wednesday and I have to do one video on New Year's Eve, which shouldn't be a particularly long one, fingers crossed. So I'll have to film and edit that. I'll have like a week and a half-ish completely off, providing that I can get 4 videos out. I've filmed them all, I just need to edit and schedule them all before Wednesday. So we'll see what I can do. But providing that I do manage to do that, if I do have a week and a half off, I should have quite a bit of reading time in there, because while I am going to be doing other stuff as well as reading, I won't be working, so that frees up quite a bit of my time. I will say though that yesterday afternoon I did pick up a new book, which was The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. We rolled a double in Sprint, so I had to pick up something new to read, and I decided to go with this one. I'm using it, I know Lightfall's over today so it's not going to end up counting properly, but I did pick it up for a particular prompt. It was for Wallace's Wonderful Winter Wanimals, which is a book with snow or ice on the cover, because as you can see, this one, I mean, they're kind of like dots, but also are they snow? I'm gonna say yes. But this one is The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. I have mentioned that I wanted to get to a Christmas romance at some point. I couldn't let another December go by without at least getting to one, and this is the one that I've had the oldest. I'm 100 98 pages into it, which is a decent chunk considering I only picked it up yesterday afternoon, especially considering how slowly I've been reading physically, like across the entirety of this month. But I'm enjoying it so far. I'm happy because I've heard some very meh things about this one, so I was prepared, like going into it prepared to just like DNF it straight off if it wasn't good. But I'm having a good time. I've been feeling particularly festive this year though, and while throughout the course of the year I haven't really been vibing with romance at all in 2023, I am currently a little bit more interested in it. Like I wanted to pick up a contemporary romance, something that was like real simple and easy and provided really good vibes. And this one's about baking as well. I'm rolling it forward to next week's vlog, so I'll tell you more about it there. But these are twin sisters that both bake, one of them in a TV competition, one of them runs the family bakery, and they decide to swap lives for the festive period. And honestly, in terms of baking, it is on point. Sadly, my baking life is not going so well because I did buy some stuff for a recipe today, but I ended up not having enough pastry, so I'm gonna have to go out and get some more. But this is providing the baking vibes that I like right now. So that is about it for my Lightfall vlog. I haven't read the most this year, but to be honest, the Lightfall Readathon is mainly about vibes, and vibes have been had. Like I've been living my best audiobook Jigsaw Owl Cat Craft Cafe life, and I'm not mad about it. I actually need to find new audiobook for the rest of the year so that I can continue with Jigsaws, because I ain't done yet. 2 Jigsaws is not scratching the itch. We got to get to at least 3.5 before I lose interest. But a big thank you once again to Ritual for sponsoring this vlog. Remember that if you guys would like to check out Ritual for yourself, you can get your first month of vitamins for 30% off either by scanning the code on screen or by heading into my description box, clicking the link and entering the code BeccaBooks30 at checkout. But aside from that, guys, I do hope you've enjoyed this vlog if you've made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Merry Christmas as well, because I'm not gonna see you before. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.